Caribbean connectivity is here. Come fly with Anguilla Air Services today. From the breathtaking views as you lift off from Anguilla to the warm embrace of St. Kitts as you touch down. This service is more than a flight. It's a bridge. A bridge for families, for business, for culture, for adventure, and for strengthening the ties that unite our beloved region. With daily departures, Sunday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. from Anguilla and 9:45 a.m. from St. Kitts, and on Saturdays, a 2:30 p.m. departure from Anguilla and a 5 p.m. departure from St. Kitts. Travelers now enjoy a more dependable, smoother, more enjoyable way to commute between these two vibrant destinations. Whether you're exploring heritage sites, engaging in regional commerce, visiting loved ones, or simply traveling for leisure, Anguilla Air Services is honored to be part of your journey. Experience the magic. Fly Anguilla Air Services. Tickets can be booked at the counters in Anguilla and St. Kitts or online at your favorite booking engine. For more information, visit www.anguillaairservices.com.
Have you heard that Mind, Body and Soul is back?
Yes, Mind, Body and Soul is back on Sundays at 4 p.m. only on Freedom FM, hosted by the inspiring Julie Charles. This is your go-to show for thought-provoking and uplifting conversations. Every Sunday, dive into topics that nourish your mind, body and soul, from wellness tips to personal growth to deep conversations. Julie brings you the stories that inspire change and spark reflection. Don't miss out. Tune into Minds, Body and Soul on Sundays at 4 p.m. and let Freedom FM guide you to a more balanced and inspired life. Minds, Body and Soul on Freedom FM Sundays at 4 p.m.
Wake up, worship, walk in purpose. Start your day grounded in faith with morning devotions with Serenade. Uplifting worship, powerful reflections, and encouragement to strengthen you for what lies ahead. Join us Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 a.m., right here on Freedom FM 106.5. Anointed mornings, empowered days.
Feet on the floor, but my heart looking high.
Get the Freedom FM app now. Just search Freedom FM app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and start listening today.
Make your way to the NEDAX Cultural Complex on Monday, August 3rd at 8:30 p.m. for the spectacular 2026 staging of the Bank of Nevis Miss Caribbean Culture Queen Pageant. Witness an unforgettable showcase of beauty, talent, culture, and intelligence as Caribbean queens compete for the prestigious crown. Cheer on Nevis's reigning Culturama Queen, Renee Davis, and St. Kitts' reigning National Carnival Queen, Treasure Didier, along with an outstanding cast of Caribbean royalties. But the excitement doesn't end there. Your ticket also gives you 5 chances to win the Bank of Nevis $5,000 raffle, with 5 lucky winners each taking home $1,000. It's one incredible night packed with entertainment, glamour, and the chance to walk away a winner. General admission is just $50, or upgrade the VIP experience for only $350. Don't miss.
Get the Freedom FM app now. Just search Freedom FM app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and start listening today.
Good afternoon, everyone, everywhere. Bonjour tout le monde, tout partout. It is 1:50 p.m. in St. Kitts and Nevis, and you are listening to Freedom FM 106.5 FM. It's a little late. We are beginning about 10 minutes. It's about 20 minutes late. No problem. We are going to go 20 minutes over the time. That's not a problem. We will finish our agenda for today. It's a very hot Caribbean day. I can tell you that. I walk across town and my whole body is drenching. Why? Because somebody did not turn on the air condition. We have 2 air-conditioned systems, but nobody turned them on. The Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. The 2 breezes supposed to be crisscrossing and keeping us comfortable. But I tell you, I walk downtown and it is hot. But it's a clear day. The sky is beautiful. Any sign of clouds, they are white and fluffy. This is Issues with your host, Coach Adrian. And as usual, and you know by now, it is great to have you on my show. Allow me to reach out to say hello to my regular and scheduled listeners, wherever you are. And some of them told me to remember that they are at work, they're on the farm, but they are listening. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour tout le monde. Some at work, some at home. And some of them tell me they take a late lunch just to make sure they tune in. And many of them said they are listening at work, particularly my boys at Bass Engineering, Bass Auto at St. Peter's. Let me say hi to my colleagues from the Central Bank, past and present. I have forgotten them for too long. My listeners in Nevis, my listeners in Montserrat, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Martin. And those in North America always tell me, don't forget them, particularly my Lucian posse in New York. We want to just change our tone just to remind ourselves that life is short. We have just lost one of our stalwarts, one of our great academics, one of our great lawyers, perhaps one that would never be replaced, the likes of Lee Moore. We have lost a great cricketer, a great cricket administrator, Charles Wilkin. He was my friend, always engaged me. He worked and he gave tremendous skill, time, and support to Cricket West Indies on the governance committee. And there was so much to learn from this man. And not only that, he's a great writer. This man can write. I have his book and I keep on reading it. It's two persons that write very well in the world. They just can write. That is Hilary Beckles and Charles Wilkin. These guys can write. And we are saddened by his passing. And of course, his passing reminds us that life is short, life is a mist, and we have to prepare for afterlife. It's a reality that we have to deal with. We don't like it, but we have to deal with it. Okay, Anukui, let's run. Run like Julian Alfred, Juju. The fastest woman in the world, 100 meters in 10.7 seconds. And she says that is Lucia Pressure. Today we move to part 4 of the Destiny's Special Sustainable Zone Development Agreement proposed by billionaire Oliver Janssen, citizens of St. Lucia by citizenship by investment. We have done part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Today, I suspect, is going to be our last. Based on the discussions in last week's talk show, I am completing the civil society trade-off, and I am hoping also to do a bit on the liability trade-off. Now, I hope you remember what we said a trade-off is. That's important because within that discussion, the trade-off we are emphasizing. That's a situation where you give up one thing to get something else. That is, you sacrifice something that is important, sometimes critical, to get another thing that is beneficial. So you are attempting to get this beneficial thing, but you know very well that you are making a great sacrifice on the other hand. Let me just give an example. That's the example that came to mind. Say you agree with your boyfriend, and I'm talking to a woman, the subject is a woman. You agree with your boyfriend to sell your dead parents' house because you are the only inheritor. to sell your parents' house and move in with your boyfriend in his house, of course, with the money that you made out of the sale. That's the benefit. But you know very well that your half-sister who lived in that house with you, your old uncle who lived in that house with you, and your nephew will have to get a place to live. You know that. You know that very well. Once you sell that, they have to get out. Fine. Because they have no right, they have no say. So that is the trade-off. That is the trade-off. Or that is the other side. Or if you want, that is the pain. Or that is the negative part of it. Or that is the loss. Or if you want to use an economic sense, in an economic sense, opportunity cost, that's the cost. You will never have peace of mind. You can live with your boyfriend for 10 years, 40 years, and whatever. You will never have peace of mind. And that is the cost. The cost is you will never have peace of mind because you know exactly what will be that impact of that decision on your half-sister, your old uncle, and your nephew. And furthermore, you have turned the family legacy into cash to go and live with a boyfriend. And notice this, I said boyfriend. So it's not your husband. It's not your husband, it's your boyfriend. Okay, let's go. One early morning on my farm, I started thinking. You see, I get to my farm very early, sometimes 5 o'clock, 5:30, early. And I put some good few hours before the sun comes up or before the sun gets too hot. So on that farm, I started thinking aloud. And I was thinking about destiny. I was thinking about destiny and in very deep thoughts about destiny. And these are the thoughts that came to me. And I said, I'm going to put it down and share it with you. 1, does destiny pose a risk to the stability of St. Kitts and Nevis? That was one thought that came to me. The second one, has destiny the capacity to incite civil unrest in St. Kitts and Nevis, a peaceful country? Another one that came to me, does destiny pose a risk to the labor market in St. Kitts? Well, not in Nevis, because no matter what happens, whether destiny is negative, is very high, or whether we speak of erosion of civil liberty and whatever. But I have shown from part 1 and right through, in the context of Nevis, 11,000 people, the impact of destiny is going to have a positive economic impact. We're not talking about the other trade-off. We'll come to that. And I showed, for example, in part 1, what, for example, just simply the flow of monies coming from the sale of land, if it enters into the system, how it can stimulate the economy of Nevis. Here is the other thing that I also thought of, is 5 things that came to my mind. And it was, despite the promised benefit to Nevis, can destiny trigger such a bitterness in that lovely little society that it ends up dividing what is a closely knitted little island, Sweet Nevis? And that came to my mind. I said, I'm going to write it down. Despite the promised benefit to Nevis, can destiny trigger such a bitterness that it ends up dividing the country, that little island, in ways that it can never come together again. And the last thing that came to my mind, can the European / destiny divide, and I explained that last week, there is a European / destiny divide that the government has to deal with, and I'll come to that. I'll come to it again this time. So can the European Union / destiny divide pose a threat to St. Kitts and Nevis, and by extension to the other CBI countries of the OECS, like Grenada, St. Lucia, Dominica, and Antigua? Could the destiny issue orchestrate a swing against the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party in the upcoming election? Maybe no, because while I was coming here, I understood that the People's Action Movement is in turmoil. The leadership have left them. So maybe this idea on the farm is not exactly very significant, because other development. So Palm is in tatters now. That is what I was greeted with when I was coming to town. And the last thing that came to my mind, if approved before election or after election, can destiny become an annoying and tormenting but unresolved problem to both St. Kitts and Nevis? And that was the one that troubled me. That was the last thought that troubled me. If government approved the destiny agreement, whether before election, and I have new information I will tell you, so it wouldn't be before election, I suppose, after election, can destiny become such an annoying and tormenting issue, but an unresolved problem to the extent that it torments the people of St. Kitts and Nevis in ways that they have never been tormented before. So much for a farmer's thought on his land. But is it inconceivable that a project like Destiny could have such a wide-range negative impact on a small, open, and vulnerable country like St. Kitts and Nevis? Is that inconceivable? Yes, those were thoughts that came to my mind. But is it inconceivable? And is it unthinkable that if the European Union and the United States don't like Mr. Janssen, and if they don't like the libertarian movement that he's part of and they are trying to set up in Nevis, and if they don't like the Destiny enclave or the Destiny zone itself, is it unthinkable that they could derail the economies of the citizenship by investment countries? Is that far-fetched? Come with me and let me repeat. The European Union issued the citizenship by investment governments an ultimatum. Yes. I said that last week. On June 25th, 2026, the governing body of the European Union, that is the European Commission, sent formal letters to the governments of Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia, demanding, and that is the word, that is the word. That word is not badly used. Demanding that they phase out the citizenship by investment program by the 1st of June 2028. Or if they don't, face the permanent loss of visa travel to Europe. Simple and straight. That is the demand that they sent to them officially by letter. What does that tell us? It says to us, life is not a zero-sum game. There are a number of cases in our situation, in our one-to-one relationship, in business transactions, etc., in investment, in family relationship and whatever. There could be a zero-sum game. But life is not always a zero-sum game. Like the law of production and consumption, and I normally like to quote that because I always say that consumption actually destroys the fruits of production. That's a nice way to say it. In other words, you got to drink. There's a bottle of water before me. I got to drink that bottle of water. As I drink that bottle of water, I am destroying that bottle of water that was prepared. And by destroying that bottle of water, I am creating the demand for more water, and I'm setting production back in train. So it is good. Things have to mash up. So unless your fridge mash up, more fridges can be made. The people who repair fridge can repair fridge. So that's important. Consumption and production goes together. Life is not a zero-sum game, meaning that it is not always the winner take all. It is not always the winner take all. So whether it is families, whether it is governments, whether it is businesses, the issue is the same. So the government of St. Kitts and Nevis cannot, if the law is right, what I have said there, cannot win at all times. They cannot win on both sides of the coin. The Labour Party government cannot win on both sides. If it was Pam who was there, they cannot win on both sides. If it was People Labour Party, they cannot win on both sides. But it so happened we are speaking today, Pam is Labour is the one in the seat. The government cannot please the European Union and please Mr. Janssen with Destiny in the same T20 match. That is okay. That is, now get that very clear. You know, before I came down, I was watching the test match, Australia, Pakistan and West Indies. And Greaves was fireman. Greaves had taken, I think he had taken 5 wickets in 5 maiden overs. So this was just magnificent. And West Indies was leading by 40-odd runs. Pakistan was trailing by that. I don't know. I hope by now they have bowled them out and then they have to set themselves to bat. Bat for 2 days or bat for a day and pile up and then come back and get them out. They need to get some more points on the ICC Test Championship. So the point that we are making here, in T20, one team must win, one team must lose. That's the point. That's not a test match. That's not a test match. So you cannot please the European Union and at the same time please Destiny. The life of Destiny is the citizenship by investment program. If you say yes to citizenship to Destiny, you are saying no to the European Union. If you say yes to the European Union, you are saying no to Destiny. You cannot have your cake and eat it. So whether it is done before or after election, the point is it cannot be done. At one point, you're going to have to dance to the tune. The painful truth is that St. Kitts cannot accept the European demand and at the same time approve the Destiny project. What a decision to be made! What a decision to be made! What are these? And it doesn't matter what happened to Pam now. No, it doesn't happen whether Pam say, well, we don't have leaders, we can't run the election and whatever. That is their problem. The point is what faced the nation now is the nation cannot say yes to the European demand so that the people can enjoy free access, and businesses and investors can enjoy the free access and inflows, so they are not hassled by visas and this and that and the other, so the flow of international trade and finance can move on. It cannot say, yes, I want that, and at the same time, I want destiny. These two cannot happen together. In other words, let me use the Christian analogy. Christianity teaches that you cannot have two husbands at the same time. A woman can have two men at the same time. They can't marry two men at the same time. One of them must be dead. Only one can be alive. So it is either one husband or the other. You cannot have two husbands while both of them are alive. That is the teaching of Jesus Christ, the head of Christianity. Should the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party government choose to walk away from destiny and the promise, because destiny is the promise of CBI golden era. Destiny is going to bring back El Dorado. So, should they walk away from destiny and the promised CBI golden era, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis will enjoy free access to 29 countries in the European Union. What is the other point? But if they do that, Nevis will remain forever dependent on St. Kitts. Nevis will continue to be treated as a ward island. That's what it is, a ward island. St. Kitts and Nevis, just like Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago is a ward island. You cannot change that. Yes, you can change that. Later on, I'll tell you how you can change that. And the reality for St. Kitts, and more so the reality for Nevis, because before Nevis, both of them are dependent, but Nevis more so, on the tourism sector, the tourism industry, which is really, in a sense, it's a 5 month of the year economy, a 5 month of the year. So during the off season, Charlestown practically closes at 4. So if you walk away from destiny, despite no matter what you call destiny, if you walk away from it, basically you are leaving Nevis in the same situation that they are as we speak. However, on the other side, should the government approve the destiny agreement, Dr. Drew would be saying, I am not giving up my guaranteed 40,000 ultra-rich CBI applicants. I'm not even counting their family. I'm not giving up my new CBI pathway to the golden era. I am not giving up. I'm not giving up the bounties that destiny promises. But in the same breath, it would be saying to the EU, we are accepting destiny's offer and we stand ready to accept the risk that our citizens and our investors and our businesses will only have visa access to Europe if they dare to do any business with Europe. So, a yes vote for destiny would mean to Nevis, it would mean Nevis is fondly called the Queen of the Caribbees, the Queen of the Caribbees. The Queen of the Caribbees will be radically transformed. I have said that before. That's a fact. It will be radically transformed economically. That is whether destiny is a state within a state or not. Nevis will be one of the richest small islands in the world. And that is a fact. And when I say it's a fact, just by nature of the size of the economy and the nature of the injection of capital that is going to be made into that small production, distribution, and consumption network. Unlike St. Kitts, Nevis will be economically vibrant. Oh yes, because Nevis stands to benefit much more, or most, or more, or very, very much compared to St. Kitts. So unlike St. Kitts, Nevis will be economically vibrant. Nevis will be fiscally strong. Nevis perhaps will be politically uncomfortable, I suspect. Nevis will be politically uncomfortable and socially divided. But I suspect the Concerned Citizens Movement, CCM, will be entrenched. So watch the contradictions there. Nevis will be economically vibrant, fiscally strong. It won't depend on St. Kitts anymore. In fact, it will not depend on St. Kitts. But it will be politically uncomfortable and socially divided. But one thing, CCM will be entrenched as a party. And with the possibility of big money backing. Remember, it is crypto whales who are going to be down there. Big money. People who have money. And not like us, we are dirty foot people. When we speak of $20 and $40 and $40. And then a man asks you for $1. You make 40 reasons to give him a $5. And $5 can't buy much. When those fellas speak, those guys in the zone, they say millions. They don't use thousands, millions. I've never seen $1 million check in my hand. I've never seen it as a check, as a one figure. So, CCM could have another shot at secession from St. Kitts. You'll never think of that. Nevis will be so empowered. Nevis will have so much, if you want, room of freedom for independence. They don't have to depend on St. Kitts. They don't have to quarrel with St. Kitts about revenue sharing and all these things anymore. And that will be the time, boy, have another vote on secession. Last time you came close, you got 65, and it's 66% you need. So this time, Nevis CCM is entrenched. Go for 75. Use your money. And, of course, Nevis will become one of the smallest sovereign states in the United Nations. Why not? They secede and they get their independence and they become a nation of the United Nations. And of course, with Premier Mark Bruntley now, will become the first Prime Minister of Nevis. But Mordo, it just came to me now. Mordo, stop that. Not so fast. It just occurred to me. But if that happened, it means I will need a visa to enter Nevis. So even going by the sea bridge, I will need a visa to enter Nevis. That's all I have to say. I don't know. I have other issues to raise, but I'm going to take, before I go into the liability trade-off, I'm going to take an advertisement break. And then when we come back, I'm going to open the phone lines, and then I'm going to look into the trade-off, the liability trade-off. Let's take an advertisement break.
Make your way to the NEDAX Cultural Complex on Monday, August 3rd at 8:30 p.m. for the spectacular 2026 staging of the Bank of Nevis Miss Caribbean Culture Queen Pageant. Witness an unforgettable showcase of beauty, talent, culture, and intelligence as Caribbean queens compete for the prestigious crown. Cheer on Nevis's reigning Culturama Queen, Renee Davis, and St. Kitts' reigning National Carnival Queen, Treasure Didier, along with an outstanding cast of Caribbean royalties. But the excitement doesn't end there. Your ticket also gives you 5 chances to win the Bank of Nevis $5,000 raffle, with 5 lucky winners each taking home $1,000. It's one incredible night packed with entertainment, glamour, and the chance to walk away a winner. General admission is just $50, or upgrade the VIP experience for only $350. Don't miss one of the biggest nights of Culturama 52. Be there.
And she's royal, yeah, so royal.
Back to school shouldn't meet you unprepared. St. Kitts Credit Union's Back to School loan helps you borrow up to $10,000 with flexible repayment plans, fast approval, supportive terms. Invest in your child's future with confidence, because every child deserves a strong start. Start today at www.skccu.com or call 465-2272. SKCU, invested in their future with you.
Friday's calling, and it's calling for a Guinness. Every Friday, it's Guinness Happy Hour at Champions Bar and Last Lap, 5 p.m. to 6:30. Buy one Guinness, get one free. 2 stouts for the price of one. 1 hour and a half. Zero excuses. Guinness. Drink responsibly.
FreedomFM1065.com. From St. Kitts and Nevis to the world, Freedom FM 106.5 FM.
Now boarding Anguilla Air Services passengers with direct flights to St. Kitts. Round trips are only $284 US. St. Kitts taxes and fees included. Come, experience the magic. Best price, best value, best service. A new chapter in Caribbean connectivity is here. Come fly with Anguilla Air Services today. From the breathtaking views as you lift off from Anguilla to the warm embrace of St. Kitts as you touch down. This service is more than a flight. It's a bridge. A bridge for families, for business, for culture, for adventure, and for strengthening the ties that unite our beloved region. With daily departures, Sunday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. from Anguilla and 9:45 a.m. from St. Kitts, and on Saturdays, a 2:30 p.m. departure from Anguilla and a 5 p.m. departure from St. Kitts. Travelers now enjoy a more dependable, smoother, more enjoyable way to commute between these 2 vibrant destinations. Whether you're exploring heritage sites, engaging in regional commerce, visiting loved ones, or simply traveling for leisure, Anguilla Air Services is honored to be part of your journey. Experience the magic. Fly Anguilla Air Services. Tickets can be booked at the counters in Anguilla and St. Kitts or online at your favorite booking engine. For more information, visit www.anguillaairservices.com.
Welcome back to Issues. You are listening to Issues with Coach Adrian, and you are listening to Freedom FM 106.5. Our listeners say we are world-class radio at its best, and we boast that we are world-class radio at its best. We are discussing part 4 of the Destiny Project, and we are looking at the trade-off. Last week we began looking at the trade-off, and we are continuing today. And we're looking at the issue, the trade-off with respect to civil liberties, and we hope to close on the trade-off on with respect to liability. What's the liability for the government? That is, we are speaking with respect to the original agreement. Later on, I'm going to make a statement on that. I'm going to open the phone line. And then during that case, I'm going to tell you what is happening with respect to how the CBI governments are responding to the EU demands or the EU threat. And then that will lead us into the liability. The number to call is 662-1065, 465-6474, or 465-0546. So 662-1065, 465-6474, or somebody's online. Okay, somebody's on air. You on air, please. You on air. You on air, please.
Yes, Agent.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. Don't shout. Don't shout. Don't shout.
Yeah, this is Jam down here.
Yes, man. Talk to me.
I want Mr. Yeltsin to know, right?
Yes.
That thinkers have laws. And Mark Brantley is not the chief. The chief is the people. I want Jansen and Terence Jew to know that. But I want to tell you, anytime he signed that is for him in the polls. Well, he done down badly. And destiny is not the answer for Sinkis and Nevis. The answer for Sinkis and Nevis is the politician to get right. I want Dr. Joe to understand what he's doing to our Marine Department in terms of what he's doing to Reg Francis. You could imagine when me and Bouncing and all of us in the circles, how Reg father used to defend labor. I wonder if his spirit over there by the government headquarters to see what you're doing to the young man. The young man is an asset to this country. The Caribbean Marine is an asset to St. Kitts and the Caribbean. And he better take it, you know, because...
Manners.
Yes.
Yes, you're making a good point, but the people have to understand what you are saying. Let the people know the name that you are mentioning. Say the name that the people know.
I'm talking about Reg Francis. It's what the government is doing to Reg Francis, a born petition.
Who's the Reg Francis?
He was a big ally Labour. He was Joe Biden.
No,
you know what I'm talking about?
Manners.
Yes.
Who is Reg? Are you talking about Regiwell Francis?
Reg Francis, that's right.
Exactly. You have to use
what the government is doing to him is wrong.
Manners.
Yes, I listen.
You can make your noise and say your thing, but when you say the thing, you have to say it in a way that the people can understand. Tell us what is it that you want to say. What is it that the government doing to him?
Why is it that this time Hurricane season they're forcing him off the land? They don't want him to at least provide the service where he always give for years.
That's correct.
By taking out these boats in the water. Right now we're right in the belly of hurricane.
Now you begin to speak. Take your time. Speak. Come on.
And this is what they're doing to this young man?
Yes.
The young man, them offer them to buy the land and they don't want to sell them because they want to sell it to foreign interest by war beyond to Ohio. And the Mark one day over there, boy,
okay.
Vote them out. Get rid of them, man. That's all we got to do. Get rid of them. Have a good afternoon, Adrian.
Yes, very well. So now you have made the point. Now you have spoken in a way that the people understand. I know about that issue you're talking about. This thing have been niggling. I thought this problem was solved. Since the previous regime, since Timothy Harris. But I didn't know that problem was still lingering there. That it is very sad. It is very sad. It is very sad. That's all I can say. It's very sad. And I really did not know that lingering thing was still on. I don't know that. Okay. Thank you very much. You on air, please.
Yes. A good day to you, Coach Adrian, and all to the people. They are blessed day.
I haven't heard you for a long time. Why are you keeping away from me?
Well, when I call, I'm not getting a response from you. I'm talking about the direct line you asked me to call on.
No,
and
but
I said, okay, he's not interested.
No. I gave you my number. I told you to send me a WhatsApp.
You did, and I called. And
no,
anyway,
you don't have.
I just want to get straight into this point.
Hold on.
Yes.
When I am on the air,
No, not on the air. This is off air.
Well, no, make sure you call me after because I need to talk with you, okay?
All right.
Okay, talk now.
Okay. Now,
all right.
You have been making some statements that are giving some stark contrasts or comparisons. I think those are questionable, if I may say so respectfully. First, you made the point about Nevis being a ward of St. Kitts. No, the country is St. Kitts and Nevis, with Nevis having its own specific element, including the right to secede. And so you can't compare it, for example, with Trinidad and Tobago or with Antigua and Barbuda. They don't have those specific benefits in their constitution with respect to that particular island in each case.
100% agreement. I agree with that, 100%,
right.
Yes.
And so, in fact, and then two things. The late Charles Wilkin Casey made a comment on that some years ago, that Nevis, even under the Constitution that it has, the rights it has, that it was exercising even more than what was there. But the government, the federal government, for peace and everything and so, just let things ride along. So that's one comparison. And even now, Nevis can move forward to secede. I don't think the Nevis people, I'm not going to speak for them, but I don't know if they would even think of that at this time. So to say that they will have this and that. The other thing is that St. Kitts and Nevis, we were considered rich countries all along. But who owned the riches? Who owned the riches? When Bradshaw came, and first he had to buy Frigate Bay from the Wrigley's, and then later, under the sugar industry, the sugar diversification, not even long before diversification, during the when they had to actually rescue the sugar industry rescue operation, they then acquired the estate that had belonged to 5 families.
That's correct.
So it's not a question that the country wasn't rich. But it is who owned these riches. So you're saying you're going to go back after all of this is done, in the case of Nevis, and that they have to make a decision on that, to give it back to these people. So you have these people come from countries where you could say, belong and have a thing. You mean that St. Kitts and Nevis people mustn't have a little island that they could call their own?
Hold on. When you said that people, you're talking about the Destiny people?
I am now switching to the Destiny.
Okay, good. Okay, go on.
The Destiny situation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The Destiny situation now.
Yes, please.
Because I'm saying under that, you mean you're going to take the country back to those days where the country was rich, became very wealthy, but who owned the riches? And then you're going to have maybe 30,000 and their descendants later on, in a country of 53,000 right now.
No. St. Kitts is 11,000. Nevis is 11,000.
I am talking now about the country.
You mean the whole of St. Kitts?
Because under the Destiny, the country remains the same, St. Kitts and Nevis, until such time as it changes.
If it's secede and
we're not reaching even the second time. You were speaking. You started first by saying the island will become wealthy and whatever, and then it might decide to secede. So even before it gets there, because I don't know if it will think of seceding at this point, but if it's going to get that project, and some people do, maybe the leadership over there has it in mind that at some point it then could secede. But I'm not talking about that point yet. I mean on the way to it. Because under the present arrangement, they would have the big citizens, some of them, many of them, of St. Kitts and Nevis. There's no citizen of Nevis.
That's correct.
It's St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah.
And as the Prime Minister said some time before, which is there, when you're a citizen, it doesn't restrict you to anything, no matter what they say. And that is why I am glad that our current Prime Minister is taking the time now to go through the legislation that they had put up and all these things to make sure that it does not conflict with what the Constitution says, because these people will come in under false pretenses. And then the other part, which I heard, I listened to something you said earlier, I think it was last week, but it was not clear on one thing. In the agreement which is set up for the Destiny Project, is there a clause that speaks about anything to do with if anything is rescinded or doesn't fall through, that they can sue, and who will they sue?
Yeah, I will be discussing that. We'll deal
exactly.
With that.
So
liability.
I'm glad I'm bringing it forward, because
no, not forward.
I have it forward now. It's giving a false.
It's not false information. Incomplete because it has to be incomplete because I'm doing it step by step.
Yes. Well, it's giving some people some, because not everybody might listen to every segment.
Yeah, but everybody, you can open a book and read all the chapter one time.
Except that.
There's no except in that.
Yeah, but you can still have the book. You still have the book that you can read.
Yes, darling. Yeah. You good. I like the discussion. Yes.
If some persons may not listen every week for you, they go away with one piece and they think that is it.
You can't
control that in for what it's worth.
But you can't control that. You can't control that. There are 12 months in a year. There are 12 months in a year. 12 months in a year.
So I'm going to conclude so others could come in. But just to say that this is incomplete, and I'm glad that the opportunity, even when you're speaking and other things, have come about where people can now weigh in and listen for themselves, because that is what we have intelligent people here.
Yeah, we'll talk about the liability.
And this needs to go, people need to be in it. Thank you very much.
Now, before you go, wait. Before you go, I want to ask you a question because I'm not getting it clear. Are you saying that the original Destiny agreement that is before government, you are saying that at least whatever little that you know, you are saying that it needs to be carefully revised and it must not be allowed to violate the Constitution? Is that what you are saying?
I don't have to say that.
No, I am asking you.
I don't have to say that. The Prime Minister and everybody...
The Prime Minister is not God. I'm asking you. I'm asking. Yes. You am asking. Don't tell me the Prime Minister. You are the one who called the program. Are you saying that it must conform to the Constitution? That's what I'm asking you. Yes or no?
Well, saying it would conform
You're telling
to the
me is where you have water.
Listen to my response, please, if you permit me. Saying it must conform will presume that I'm saying it's okay. I don't want to make that type of judgment. I want to say that what I am hearing about and seeing about and reading about, and even under the chapeau it has, which is the sustainable, the SSZ, what have you. When I see the clauses in there, because the Prime Minister made that legislation available to everybody, and I took up a copy, right? And it is telling you about things like, you have the right to the seabed and this and all of these different things. And I mentioned again, one of the seminal things that we need to look at is what the late Charles Wilkin Casey wrote. That should be the, whatever you want to say, core basis for assessing that thing. I'm going to just leave it there.
Yeah, but
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my dear. Thank you for calling. We have outlined the contribution of Charles Wilkin, and it was contribution of Charles Wilkin that actually set the thing rolling and set the Bar Association to take their position and write to the Prime Minister, and therefore that's why I said that and I quoted from it. The point is that Charles said the very thing that the caller does not want to say. Charles says that if the agreement is approved as is, you will have two states. The zone will be a state because, as I have explained and take extract of the agreement, they in that zone, you cannot touch them. Their convention, their laws and everything, they're not subject to the labor law, they're not subject to the banking law, they're not subject to the milieu and the function and the production and consumption and movement of the economy. They operate on their own. Custom cannot touch anything that they bring in. So it's not so much Dr. Drew. We have to be careful that we don't just pour things on Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew is the leader of the country. But in fact, Manuel said it right. He is the leader of the country, but we are all responsible. So the argument is, we don't have to hide behind anything. Those who know, those who are expert in the law, says that the original agreement as is, it is violating some aspect of the Constitution, and that includes civil liberties, etc., and the other things that I have said. Okay. Somebody's on air. You're on air, please. I think I'm going to step in quickly into the liability. You're on air, please.
Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good. Peter, on this issue, African descent offspring are asking for reparation. Now, in the European Parliament, there's a statement made that they are looking, rather than we get reparation now, we are the ones who are going to have to pay them. I don't know if you know of that portion.
No, I have not heard this one. I have not heard about we have to pay them. I have heard that the things are afoot for them to make the reparation.
Oh, well, okay. This woman raised a point that instead of we getting reparation, we now have to pay them.
So what is the reason? We're paying them for being slaves?
Yeah, exactly. For being here. Okay? Okay, it's like they do us a favor. No.
So what were we? What we were savages? We were aliens. So savages, they turn us into people by putting us in slavery.
Right. So we now have to pay them. But here it is. Now the European Union is saying, hey, listen, you just put the claim there that we have a choice between bringing the destiny or this in the European Union.
No, you bring in the destiny. In other words, you continue with the citizenship by investment program beyond the date that they give you, 1st June 2028. 2028. Now, why we connecting it with destiny is destiny's life is in the CBI. If there is no CBI, there is no destiny. Right. Because destiny, basically, they are going to raise their money by selling those real property, maybe for millions. I did some arithmetic last week. If you did listen,
I did listen last week.
They're going to make billions out of it when the government will just make a few million. The point is, if government say no to the EU, they are saying yes to destiny. If they say yes to destiny, they are saying EU, go to hell.
Right. So we have a choice. We're in a sticky place at this point.
That's the point.
Right. And last week you also made the point last week when you said these are rich people who are going to pay no taxes.
No taxes. Now, mind you, I want you to stay tuned because just before I close, I have some new development. I'm going to read some new development.
Okay.
All the discussion that we are taking here is based on the original agreement that Janssen presented. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm following.
Right. So, in other words, is that same document that Charles Wilkin, and I'm so unhappy that this guy died because he was rich in intellect, rich in the things of the world, but yet this guy was humble, he was intelligent, and you know what happened I like about him? Because we work together in sports and many things. He dared to speak.
But he left the inspiration for us to carry on, and that we must do.
Yes, my brother.
Also, Peter, when you think about these people are not going to pay any taxes, but you would realize, as you say in your first program, we would get a lot of money. Nevis would be good.
Oh, yes.
But you just make another point. You just make another point.
Yeah.
That the CCM party would be entrenched.
Oh, yes. That
is never good for any country.
Yeah, but at that point, they will never get back. They'll never get out of power with the kind of money support behind them. So the best thing they can do is to take the vote again. Pay the people to vote and let them secede. So, and then, remember the last time they got 65% and it's 66% they need.
Yeah.
So if they spend their money and those crypto whales can put their money into it, like Charles said he feared that those billionaires will put their money behind the party they support and they will mash up our election. You remember that?
Good. Yes.
I quoted that. So
the lady was just trying to make a point.
Yes.
That with 60,000 people in St. Kitts Nevis, and you were saying, no, it's Nevis.
Nevis
so we can't talk no Nevis.
Nevis
so
is
you
11.
Tell me we have 30,000 expatriates, 30,000 persons in the Destiny Zone against 11,000 poor people in Nevis.
But you have a big problem. Let me tell you something. I cannot. That is why I said that. Could it be? I fought on my farm. Could it be that if they approve this thing, you can be living with a tormented? You know, like if you build a house and the house is poorly built. You know, the house is killing you every day.
Every day, yes. So bad decision to kill us in the future.
Let me ask you, my brother. Could it be that is the kind of house we are about to build in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Yes. But before we get into the house building, do you know last week Destiny sent in another claim?
That is what I want to. That's what I want to tell the people. I have that. I was informed of that because what
good. So,
you know what it is. You know what it is saying. You know when this discussion began, the number of people, nobody was giving people information to speak.
Right.
So what this is saying to you, the power of public education is true.
But you good, Peter, I would give you credit because you have over 600 pages, which you know no politician, government minister is going to read that.
By 2,000 pages, not 600, okay. 2,000 pages.
And now you have another 1,000 pages added last week.
But let me tell you something.
But
the thing is, they're not making it available. You have to go to Nigeria. You have to go to you big stan. You have to go to Australia to get it. But what they don't know, in this age that we live in, you can't run, you can't hide.
You know, Peter, when you started the program first, when you did the first part, I called. And then you asked me not to put the cat before the ass.
Well, that information you asked me, I have it. I want to share it today.
Okay, well, good, Peter. I won't keep you back no more. I have some more things to say, but you want to go, so move on.
Man, thank you for the education. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Somebody? Okay, so the point that we are making here is that I'll fast forward to the liability. And because we have an extra 20 minutes, am I correct? We have an extra 20. Let's take an advertisement break. So I'll reorganize it, yes, because we have some extra.
Make your way to the NEDAX Cultural Complex on Monday, August 3rd at 8:30 p.m. for the spectacular 2026 staging of the Bank of Nevis Miss Caribbean Culture Queen Pageant. Witness an unforgettable showcase of beauty, talent, culture, and intelligence as Caribbean queens compete for the prestigious crown. Cheer on Nevis's reigning Culturama Queen, Renee Davis, and St. Kitts' reigning National Carnival Queen, Treasure Didier, along with an outstanding cast of Caribbean royalties. But the excitement doesn't end there. Your ticket also gives you 5 chances to win the Bank of Nevis $5,000 raffle, with 5 lucky winners each taking home $1,000. It's one incredible night packed with entertainment, glamour, and the chance to walk away a winner. General admission is just $50, or upgrade the VIP experience for only $350. Don't miss one of the biggest nights of Culturama 52. Be there.
And she's royal, yeah, so royal.
Back to school shouldn't meet you unprepared. St. Kitts Credit Union's Back to School Loan helps you borrow up to $10,000 with flexible repayment plans, fast approval, supportive terms. Invest in your child's future with confidence, because every child deserves a strong start. Start today at www.skccu.com or call 465-2272. SKCU, invested in their future with you.
Get the Freedom FM app now. Just search Freedom FM app on Google Play or the Apple App Store and start listening today.
Thank you and welcome back to Issues. And things are getting hot and very nicely and very educational here. So what I'm going to do here, I am going to fast track I'm going to go straight into the trade-off of liability. We're going to discuss liability, and that will lead me to the closing statements that we have 40 more minutes, so we can take some more calls. Okay, but let me go into the liability. So if any calls come now, I'm not going to take it now. I'm going to reopen after we speak the liability. Okay, so let's talk about the trade-off in liability. The liability in the Destiny proposed agreement, it is the legal and financial responsibility that government as one contracting party, or government / the Navy's administration, but of course, because of the federal arrangement, it is the federal government that is liable. Because even if St. Kitts wants an international loan, the federal have to underwrite that. They have to whatever. Until, I suppose, Nevis becomes a nation by itself and whatever. So it is the legal and financial responsibility that government and Destiny accepts if they break the rules of the agreement. That's what my lady was asking. The trade-off is the balance with respect to how much risk government takes on against how much it gets to be paid. So, if you did not know, for example, when some people are getting married, people have become very wise now, and they take what they have, they sign up what they call a prenup. In other words, some fellow told me if he has to get married again, and if his wife died, he says the first thing he will do is to take all his land and his house and pass it to his children, so he don't have to go to any prenup. So when the woman come, they have to work for anything that they will have. So Mr. Janssen has included his own prenup clause to spell out who pays what if the marriage fails. Oh yes, because remember, as I said before, those documents are not fly-by-night documents. These are documents that are well crafted by teams of people who are highly skilled in varied areas. And of course, these are documents that are used internationally. So there's an international team of experts that, like the new document they say they will give you, it's the same thing. It's a team of experts. So the liability clause clearly spelled out how much money each party owes another if it breaks the rule or fails to do the job. And also, he sets a cap on the damages. The liability, of course, is enforced after what you call the cooling period. The cooling period is the time allowed to, if you want to cancel the contract or that agreement we're talking about, the Destiny agreement, and of course without penalty. So you have a cooling period. Now I do not know what the cooling period is. I was not privy to that. I'm just learning intelligently. So if the government approves the document, and I'm talking to the old document, the original document, there is the cooling period. If the cooling period is a month or 14 days or 3 months or 2 months, whatever it is, where you can change. You can say, okay, I don't like what Destiny is happening, what is happening over there. I can't live with it, and the people can't live with it. Yes, the money is coming in, but the society is divided. The community that was so sweet, they killing one another, and whatever. People are saying they have regrets. They should not have sold their land. And then, in a small society, one little discomfort triggers right through Oh yes, that's not like America or London, no. One little discomfort triggers through the system, through the society. So it says, according to the agreement, if Destiny divorces after the cooling period, the developers will pay the government 75 million US. I am reliably informed that there is an arithmetic that is used in the document to calculate the government's liability. There is a formula that is in the document at which you use to calculate what the government liability would be if it also divorces after the cooling period. And when you work out the arithmetic, I was reliably informed it works out to be the government's liability would be 23 billion US. If the developers of the Destiny Zone are liable after the cooling period, they will pay 75 million to the government. If the government is liable, according to the informed arithmetic formula or the formula, they will pay 23 billion. Now, I went and verified that again, and it is so. So what I did, I asked the question, what does that mean for the government and people of St. Kitts? Let me put it in a simple language so you can understand. So, to understand that, I went to look at what is the GDP of St. Kitts. In other words, all what St. Kitts produce and everything, what is the dollar value of all that is produced in St. Kitts? And I found from Central Bank data, it is 3.2 billion EC dollars. 3.2 billion EC dollars, which converts to 1.2 billion US dollars. So the point that we are making here is, we are making an assumption. What's the message? If we assume, unrealistically, but if we assume that the sitting government, of course, Dr. Drew now, if he remains in power after election, it is the Labour Party. If a new party takes over, it is that party, the sitting government. The sitting government would have, if we assume that the sitting government would have access to resources that can be equal to the GDP of the country, that is 1.2 billion US. Then we are saying that the sitting government, if that is the old document I'm talking about, the sitting government, it would take 19 years to pay the damages to Destiny. And also, I saw the clause. The clause says, while they can go to arbitration, but it does not prevent Destiny, if they don't like the outcome in arbitration, to take it to the international court. And if you want example of that, you can look at the Honduras example. Now, if that happened, this could regulate Sugar City to the status of Haiti or Sudan, and for a large part of the population. So what are we saying? We are saying that government decision to approve Destiny could make or break Christopher and Nevis. That's what the arithmetic is telling me. That's what the arithmetic is telling me. The arithmetic is telling me, if we consider the liability, that the decision could make or break St. Christopher and Nevis. The situation, therefore, I think, calls for serious leadership. It calls for wisdom. And when I was thinking of that, I opened the Bible and I went to James. James says, if any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. That's James chapter 1, verse 5. And I went to Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7. It says, wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom. And with all of this, get understanding. And then this leads me to my latest information with respect to the new development. Many of y'all would have heard the Prime Minister, or you would have read on the net the Prime Minister's office statement of July 23, 2026, with respect to destiny and with respect with the process of review that is being done on the destiny agreement. The Prime Minister's office reported, and I'm going to quote as it is. On July 1, 2026, Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew wrote to the Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, identifying 4 major issues that had been determined by the federal cabinet. Those issues were identified following consultation with and a review of input received from the Special Sustainable Zone Ad Hoc Committee and the Independent Oversight Committee. I'm continuing to read the quotation. The Prime Minister reiterated the constitutional position that the federal government does not exercise a general jurisdiction over development on Nevis, like the lady caller made the points. Yes. The federal government's role, however, arises where a proposal engages federal responsibilities and national constitutional questions, including immigration, customs, citizenship, lawful enforcement and prosecution, the courts, treaty obligation, public finance, financial regulation, and the operation of federal law. End of quote. Today, we will close our discussion on Mr. Jansen's proposed destiny agreement. We will not discuss the trade-off in the labor market as we plan to, because I am reliably informed, and it's already in the public, that the consequence of the developments associated with the original documents, I suppose the public education, etc., and the civil, if you want, the civil society response, the developers of Destiny will be submitting a new Destiny agreement or making major alteration or changes to the original document. So therefore, we will wait. We will wait for the new Destiny Special Sustainable Zone Development Agreement if and when it is made available. So what are we to deduce from the information? What are we to deduce? Well, do the developments signal the putting of Destiny in the pending or waiting file? Do the development point to an irreconcilable difference between the federal government and the Nevis Island administration on some of the provisions of the Destiny Agreement? This is what the Prime Minister said in the same official report, and I quote, "There will be no compromise as far as any of our laws or our constitution is concerned with any project in St. Kitts or in Nevis. The Constitution is supreme. No agreement and no development will be permitted to displace the Constitution." End of quote. And that is part of the official statement I read a while ago. So, what are we saying here? What are we saying? Are we to look for general elections before November? November was the touchlight day for the whole project. Seeing that touchlight day was the 5th of November 2026, would we, since that it will no longer be a constraint, perhaps will Dr. Drew surprise the opposition parties and ring the bell to catch them unprepared, particularly now with the new development that PAM has no leader right now? Could we be hearing very soon the bell ring so that they catch them more unprepared? Does the submission of the new Destiny agreement give government much needed time, seeing that they are also awaiting the EU's response, because the CBI government have requested for mercy and grace and economic assistance from the EU for them to diversify the economy. So, are we therefore to see that since Destiny is not on the table, under immediate consideration, that the St. Kitts Nevis Citizenship by Investment Program, are we to think that it will be phased out in 2028? We await all of this development in the new program. So, but no matter what, whether it is before election or after election, before or after election, you cannot say yes to the European Union and say yes to Destiny at the same time. That cannot happen, because Destiny depends, the life of Destiny depends on the operation of the Citizenship by Investment Program. In fact, as I have shown before, Destiny almost give the CBI sector a new pathway, a captive market, a guaranteed market of almost 40,000, not counting families. So as we speak, it is either the government has to stay with the EU or part with Destiny. The choice is simple. Whether it is before election or after election, whichever is the sitting government, they either stay with the EU or stay with the Destiny and part ways with the EU. I'm going to stop right now. Is there anybody? I want to thank you, everyone who participated. I want to thank you for all those who provided education during the discussion of the 4-part program on Destiny. I want to say thank you to the many persons who provide research support, the person who provide intelligence. Without you all, this program could not be what it does. It could not have the kind of information to share with the public. Now, next week, Monday, is a holiday. So we are not going to be there next week, Monday. So we are going to be there the following Monday. So until then, this is Coach Adrian saying thank you for listening. Thank you for scheduling your time. And until we meet again the following week, it's bye-bye.
Established in 1996, Island Purified Water has prided itself by providing purified bottled water in 13 ounce, 21 ounce, 1.5 liters,